Okay, so where we left off was with the non-HO roller cam install, and we got 212 horsepower out of that, which was about 20 horsepower more than the previous test. And I said at the end of that video that I wanted to do some work on the cylinder heads. So I think what we're going to do is we'll get these cylinder heads off, start cleaning them, and then get them on the flow bench, and we'll do a baseline flow test on the cylinder head, see where we're starting out at. This 302 came out of an 87 Ford F-150, so what I think these cylinder heads should be is the E7TEs. And they ought to be the same cylinder heads, or very, very similar to the cylinder heads that came on the Mustang 5 liters. Okay, so let's start taking it apart and get those cylinder heads off of there. Okay, so I got the cylinder heads off the engine. Now it's time to clean them, and this is what I got to try to clean them with. It's cleaning the exhaust ports is going to be especially difficult, but I'm going to try this and this and this in different orders and see which one works, see how it works. Don't ask me why I like cleaning with that. It just seems like finishing with this gets that last little bit of oil and residue off of things. It seems like it does a pretty good job at the end. Okay, let's start out with this and see how that goes. I'll let that sit down there for a few minutes and then we'll spray it off. Alright, that's been about 10 minutes. Let's hit it with a pressure washer and see how it does. Okay, so I got the cylinder heads about as clean as I can get them. What ended up working pretty well is I started out with that and took off the worst of it. What I did second was I went over it with this, and wherever I saw more like caked on carbon, I took this and a wire brush, and I tried to get as much of that off as I could that way. The way I finished it was with this. I'm always kind of surprised at how well this works for cleaning some parts. I don't know if it's good for everything. And one last thing I wanted to show you before we go over to the flow bench is that it's these are the E7TE heads. As far as I understand it, that's what that means. Okay, I got the cylinder head set up on the flow bench. I'm going to start out with the intake side. I'm using clay as the inlet radius. We're going to start out at 50 thousandths, go to 100, and then up to 500 thousandths and 100 thousandths increments. I'll just do these tests, and then at the end we'll just go over the results. These are the numbers that I've come up with. So on the intake side, I read a little bit lower than what seems like other people get out of these cylinder heads, but it's within, you know, maybe 5, 6 CFM of what other people seem to get. And on the exhaust side, I kind of had the opposite problem. I'm getting a little bit more than what other people seem to be getting, but all flow benches read differently. These are the numbers that I got. These are just the numbers that I'm going to go with. I'm not saying that my numbers are right and anybody else's are wrong, or I'm not saying that mine are wrong or anything like that. I'm just saying that this is what I got. In the next video, I think I'm going to do try to do a silicone mold of the intake and exhaust ports, so we can see what they look like before I make any changes to them at all. And I think that might be kind of interesting. I've never done that before, so I think that might be kind of cool to see. All right, we'll see you then.